Yo, yo, yo. Welcome, welcome, welcome to No Ideas Original. I am Mr. Rob. Got my good brother Zane. The coach ain't in with us. The coach staying backstage a little bit, but he's on the boards rocking out. We got a good show today. What's up, Zane? How you, man?
Cooler, man. Very excited right now, man. We for all y'all out there listening, tuning in tonight. We have a good brother, basically like the human embodiment of a hip hop museum, the legend,
How about that?
graffiti artist, MC,
Innovator,
b-boy,
innovator,
entrepreneur,
innovator.
innovator, trendsetter. Come on, man. So many other different monikers and just names I could say. We have Thirstin Howl the third, y'all.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, yeah. What's good, people? What's good?
what's
I
What's
going
don't,
on,
good, brother,
bro?
I
man?
don't, I don't see nobody on the screens. I only see myself right now.
Do you?
Well,
You should see both of us. You don't see us?
I see your two boxes, but they black.
Oh, wow.
It's like darked out. But I mean, I can hear you. It's all good.
Good. How you been, brother?
I've been good, man. I've been blessed, man. Thank God, you know.
Yes, sir, man. You look good too, bro. You look real
Thank
good,
you, man.
man.
Trying to
Look good.
maintain, man. You know, MCs in their 50s now, man. So we
Right.
ain't going nowhere.
Let's talk about it. That's a different pedigree, man. I hope your health is right. You're doing your push-ups, you eat your sea moss.
Every day, man. I really take it serious, man. Especially if you trying to play the game, man. You got to play the part as well, man. You got to be appealing to the people.
That's right.
For
That's
sure.
right. You
For
gotta be
sure.
accessible. Gotta be accessible, man. You gotta be a people's person. Well, bro, can you see us yet?
Nah, I still don't see y'all, man, but it's all good.
Okay. But listen, man, there's so much about you, man. I love creative people. I love people that just all over the place, man. But let's start about who was Thurston Howard the third, man. How did you get that name?
Um, Thurston Howell the third. A lot of people might know him from the character on Gilligan's Island, but I got the name from being thirsty. Like as a battle rapper, I used to hunt people down, and
Right.
my friends would start calling me thirsty. Like,
Wow.
yo, you thirsty? I ain't going nowhere with you no more. All you want to do is battle. You just want to. So the name thirsty started sticking to me. And
Mm.
then, when I fully developed my rhyme style and my voice and everything, it was just natural to become Thurston Howell the third. But I really didn't use any gimmicks from the Gilligan's Island character.
Right.
I always kept it original, man. I spelled the name differently and
Right.
all of that, So I wasn't trying to be gimmicky with it, man. But, straight Skilligan's Island out here.
And that's crazy, man, because your brother, you got a million names.
Yeah.
Which I love. But the one I love the most is General Low. And I need
Oh,
you to talk about the karate flick too, son. How did you put that together, man?
I mean, one day, my rest in peace, my dude B1, he's the Black Mantis in the karate movie. He came to me with all the weapons and the wardrobe, and he
Right.
said, "Yo, what could we do with this?" And I was like, "Man, that's a no-brainer."
A no
He
brainer.
basically gave me everything to do the karate movie. I mean, I'm a karate movie fiend, man, since the 70s and all that. I studied all of them. I watched everything.
Right.
I emulated them. I mimicked it, throughout my entire life, man.
Right.
Not because of the woo or nothing, because this was what New York City was doing. I come from that era.
That's
So,
right.
I mean, it was just a natural thing for me to do, man. Like to pull off the karate movie. Once I found the locations and stuff, and I
Yeah,
put my cast together, then I wrote out that script. And
yeah.
next thing I'm over there doing kung fu, and you see my kung fu now,
Now listen, yo, let me tell you something.
hands down.
The low life palm was dope.
Thank you,
The
man.
whole,
Yeah, and like you said, man, it's about being creative, man. I try to do
yeah,
it, cause a couple of hip hop artists done karate movie themed music videos before,
right.
but I don't think nobody ever did it the way I did it. Everybody did it in a specific way and style, which was entertaining at the time and all that. Everybody's joints, but I did my own kung fu, man.
You
That's what I
did,
didn't
man.
really see nobody do. I
And
did my own kung fu. I did all the voiceovers you hear in the film.
yeah,
I can emulate the voices. I could do all that, and Like I said, I wrote the entire script. And, you know, as far as the bull heads with the Shaolin dots and all that, I was doing all that before I was a rapper, man. We was really doing that in the streets, man. We was in Brownsville and in the Garvey. We were really wearing bull heads with Shaolin dots in like 1990, rolling around, you know, to the club 100 deep like that, you know?
Like Brooklyn monks, huh?
Yep. The same way, you know, like with all the AKAs, you say, you know, I got all these different names. That's not something I started doing when I became a rapper. That was always part of my personality before. I always had a nickname for something that I felt I was good at, or, you know, some funny comedic kind of shit.
But usually in the hood, when you're around your boys, little things happen, certain things like that. Nicknames come out of that. When you're hanging out, little stuff that happens. Man, I got crazy names too, man. And a bunch of my friends, we don't use our aliases. We use our nicknames and stuff like that.
That's what's up.
Tell you what, brother, man, it's an honor to have you on here tonight, man. I want to give a big shout out to the whole New York, whole Brooklyn, and then especially Brownsville, because a lot of times too, people, even though Brownsville is in Brooklyn, it's like it's Brooklyn and then it's Brownsville. Can you let our listeners and viewers know the difference between that?
I mean, Brownsville is that one section in Brooklyn where the rest of the Brooklyn don't want to go over there. You know what I mean? But you know, Brownsville is full of riches and talent, man. Look at all the great people that came out of Brownsville.
That's a fact.
You know, I mean, they say no struggle, no strength. So, you know, Brownsville really builds your character, man, and creates strong men and warriors and barbarians to come out of there, man. So if you from there, you really bred a different way. I mean, look at our spokesperson and mascot, Mike Tyson. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's the Brownsville mascot.
That's the president, right?
He's the president, like, you know, and then MOP and all that. So you see the attitude and the aggression, you know, that comes from Brownsville.
We had the good brother Billy Danz on several weeks ago, man. It was an excellent interview. But also in Brownsville, man, you had also Shannon Briggs, I believe. Zab beautiful out there too, right?
Of course, Zab. I grew up with Shannon too, man. Shannon actually lives out in Florida, man. We still together all the time, man. That's funny, man.
That's good, bro.
Life is beautiful. You know, like you said, Willona and Thelma from Good Times, man. There are a lot of people that came from Brownsville. People don't know. You know, the Three Stooges come from Brownsville.
Get out of here.
Larry King comes from Brownsville.
That's crazy.
You know, there are a lot of historical people, man. When I did my research and stuff, I was shocked.
Right.
Amazed. You know, the original Murder Inc., the hitman team from back in the 40s and all that was located in Brownsville as well. You know, with Dutch Schultz and
a lot of that's what's up. Let's talk about low life, bro. Man, let me tell you something. Ralph Lauren, knowing his history, he's coming, a poor kid from the Bronx, then flipped his name, created this American brand, and it became the upper crust of fashion. So long. I mean, I grew up in the 80s, and my parents, they weren't well off, but they loved that clothing. You know what I'm saying? It was certain type of material clothing that my parents wore and dressed me and my sister in. And then hip hop came, and it took on a whole nother presence. Talk about what was it that drew you to Ralph Lauren's material, like his clothing?
I mean, what drew us to it, period, was the consistency, man, and changing and the big blow up logos, you know. You know, it was a fashion evolution. I say this all the time. The low lifestyle didn't start with Polo. It started way before that. You know, it started with all the brands before that.
It was other brands, so it wasn't just Polo. It was Gas. It was
but even before that, you know, the b-boy style. You know, I'm a b-boy. I'm a breakdancer. So, you know, my stuff started with the Puma suit with the ski goggles and the shell toes and those Adidas, you know, track suits and all that. So it was still the same style when we evolved into Fila suits and then Izard and Pierre Cardin velours and the Benetton. It was all the same style, and then it got to the Polo. The
Mhm.
Polo was only because he was more consistent. He was the first brand that I ever witnessed that actually proved to me what seasonal was, where every season is mad new pieces coming out. You know what I mean? For the fall, for the winter, and all that. So that's what made him the dominant brand amongst us, because he just kept coming with it, man, and kept dropping those logos. You know, all these other designer brands had one logo, man. Ralphie was switching it up like crazy,
Yeah.
And
giving you variety.
He had clean material too, and his colors were always popping. That's what
and his colors always connected. So if you bought something yellow, it's always the same yellow you connected with another item. And you know, I'll be honest with you, back then I wasn't looking at no quality or nothing. That was never a thought on my mind, the quality of the garment. Like, is it gonna last the test of time? I was looking fly right now. That's all that mattered. I ain't give a fuck about no quality. You know what I mean? This was my right now shit, and this was how it was going down. But
give me your definition of fly, Thirstin style.
I mean, fly
head to toe.
I mean, the clothes don't make the man. I have my shirt off and I'm fly. You know what I mean? Like I'm tatted up. It's mad different ways to express your flyness. It ain't always the garments. You know, it's the garments are actually helping to assist your attitude and your aura of who you already are. You know, that's what really shows how you put your pieces together. You could put me in the same room with a dude who got on the exact same outfit, and I'm gonna wear it differently. I'm gonna make it feel different. I'm gonna walk differently. You know what I mean? So it's not gonna be the same. You know, the clothes don't make the man. It's actually the other way around. You know, I wore those state greens and all that too. I wore it the same way I wore polo. You know what I mean? I kept it crispy. I kept it fresh. I might have sewn the logo on or something, but it still had the same feel. You know, my aura and my persona had a lot to do with the way the clothes were worn.
So when did Low Life start?
I mean, Low Life history goes real deep, man. Like, you know, even before Low Life began, as far as St. John's and Utica and Brownsville, Marcus Garvey, we all had years of history before we became the Low Lifes in 1988. That's when we came together and, you know, it became official. We were Low Lifes as a team.
And is Low Life different from Ralphie's Kids?
No, because everybody from Ralphie Kids became Low Life once the transition happened. Once we merged, everybody automatically became Low Life, whether you was Ralphie Kids or you were Polo USA, or no matter what team you was coming from. Once we merged, everybody was Low Life now. You know, even if you wasn't there and didn't know what was going on, you was automatically thrown into the equation, which happened to a lot of people.
That's crazy.
Can you educate the viewers and listeners on way back in the 80s, man, where, you know, polo, well, just fashion overall was just everywhere, man. It was a major influence, especially in the community. And tell us about the situations like on the train, man, and the different things that people had to go through as far as wearing their garments, especially polo.
I mean, you know, the 80s was crazy. So, you know, you had Bernard Getz gunning people down on the subways and all that.
Oh my God.
The crime rates on the subways alone was out of control. And then you had the mobs of youth, you know, running through the subways, especially like all those kids going to high school.
Sure.
You know, it was just always crowded and always chaos. So, you know, anything of value, man, you could get robbed for on the train. You know, your clothing, you know, your book bag. There was a time where the train, I mean, even now it's still crazy, you know, from the looks of how everything is going down. But it's always been a serious situation we're walking through, even before the polo, like I said.
Right.
When you had a sheepskin on back in 83 or 84, you could get stuck for your sheepskin, your leather bomber, your leather goose, you know, your raccoon hat. You know what I mean? It was that serious back then. the Russian hats and all that. So it's just the vibe of New York City, man. There's a lot of poor people, there's a lot of starving people in the ghetto, and everybody want to look fly. So sometimes it means, I gotta take that from you so I could look good, better you than me type of attitude. That's what the 80s was like.
Speak about the importance of your peoples, man. Boosting Billy and what he meant
Well,
to the brand, Low Life brand.
Boostin' Billy was a major, major founder and innovator within Low Lives. He brought a lot of different things to the table. He for one, he was a master thief. I stood in stores with him and I seen him steal stuff in front of the lady working in the store, in front of her face, while she's showing him garments, and he's bowling shit up, stealing right in front of her face, and she don't see nothing. But he's also the originator of throwing the 2 L's up. He's also a big pioneer who took Low Lifes to Philly, and he turned the whole Philly out like by 1989. You know what I mean? So Boostin' Billy was definitely a major contributor, man. And he was a thorough dude, man. He wasn't one of them back down dude. He was somebody he's going all out when it's time. Anytime I stood side by side with him, he stood side by side. He's going all the way with it. If you saw my book, Bury Me with the Low on the cover, there's a photo of me, Boostin' Billy, and Disco on the actual cover of it. It just shows one of his many fly outfits, and how him crushing the Gucci sneakers and all that. But he's definitely a legendary name, man, that really had a lot to do with this Low Life being what it is,
Right. Man, Low Lives, man, y'all guys is powerful, man. And to know y'all got chapters all over the world, man. You got chapters in Japan, you got chapters in Europe.
I mean, all that happened through hip hop. Once we became a positive organization and started making moves in the name of hip hop, we started connecting people all over the world, man, just with love and loyalty, because everybody's living the hip hop life first and foremost. So it basically made, Polo the uniform for the hip hop life we live in. We follow the laws and the rules of hip hop, and as we live it, man.
Now you're right, because fashion is one of the pillars, man. How you look, how you wore your Adidas, and how you wore your suits and different things. Has hip hop lost some of its fashion sense today?
Not at all, man. I mean, things evolve. They never gonna evolve. They might not evolve the way we want them to, but you gotta respect evolution regardless. You know what I mean? It's going to happen whether you like it or not.
That's right.
The crazy thing, right? It's like more than anything now, fashion is acknowledged more as a fifth element. And, Low Lives has a lot to do with that, because, the way we've been stampeding through the game right now, with everything we doing. But it's really acknowledged more now as the fifth element. But I'm going to tell you the actual factual deal. It was always the first element. Dudes were fly before they wanted to break dance, before they wanted to be a DJ, when they was going to do their graffiti. The fashion aspect was always first.
Right.
It was also my first love coming in. I was attracted to the fashion first before I did all these other things.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I remember as a kid, I think I was 12 years old, and my pops, he was in the street, so he would bring certain shit home. But I went to a party. I got a pair of Bally's. I had a suede front. I had a leather jacket. I had a leather jacket that had the sheepskin collar way before anybody even had those, and a beaver hat. And I was 12 years old. So
where you from?
I'm from the Bronx.
All right.
Back then, getting fly was actually dressing up, putting on shoes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. British Walkers. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. No sneakers. Sneakers is like time to go play, or if you going to a cookout or something. But if you went out, you actually really dressed up.
Yeah, for me, it was always sneakers, man. And I was a Bally British Walker dude too, and Wallabies and all that back then. But
yeah, and
it
Clark,
still was like, yeah, when it's time to get dressed up, I'm throwing on a tracksuit. I'm throwing on sneakers,
right.
throwing on that Beaver Kango or something,
But
I
getting
never
fly
would.
was the shit though. You had to get fly though.
You had to. I mean, you didn't come out your house if you wasn't fly around our way, because for one, everybody gonna rank on you if you're not fly. And if you can't handle the jokes, you got to go back home. And we was real serious with the jokes at the same time. If you see the kind of punchline rapper I am, in all my music, so you can imagine what kind of jokester I was back then, because that's what made me the punchline rapper I am, being a dude ranking all the time in the hood. And I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm the only Puerto Rican around sometimes. So I got attacked by 20 people. Yeah, but I got attacked 20 people at a time. Everybody got a Goya Bean joke, but I'm coming hard with all kind of jokes, because I'm used to 10 and 20 people coming at me. So I'm able to flip it back. That's how the battle raps really got to be what they are.
So before Thirstin Howl, you were what was your name? Big Vic the Barbarian.
Big Vic the Barbarian. That was my name in Low Lifes.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Because
how do you transition from one to the other now? Did your rhyme style change, you think?
I mean, that was always my name in Low Life, and that's from knocking things out. I was a barbarian, putting work. When we headed out places, I'm the dude. I ain't going home till I get me one of those. So once I started rapping, like I probably started rapping in 1996. It only took me about 2 or 3 months before I evolved into Thirstin Howl, because I started out as Big Vic the Barbarian just because that was my name by default. Right, but I still haven't developed my style and my character and how I wanted to appear on the music. If you notice, all my beginning recordings and all that was all comical. I wasn't coming on no thug stuff. I wasn't talking no toughness.
That's why
I was being creative.
I like the karate flick so much, son. The karate shit was tough, yo.
Thank you, man. There's a part 2, man.
Oh man,
it's not a game. But yeah, so like I said, that's how I evolved into Thirstin, man. Just by finding myself, going away, testing my pen and everything.
That's right.
Now take us back to the essence, man. We had you got the art, and then you have the art of it. There's so many facets of that. And back when Beat Street, Wild Style, and all that other stuff came out, the movies came out. Tell me how it was an influence on you, and also when you think of graffiti, you think of also breakdancing. So tell me how Crazy Legs from Rocksteady Crew and also like Wild Style, them other movies played a part in your life as far as getting into hip hop and being an inspiration.
Oh man, because I was living it, man, at the time. Like, I'm in the Roxy's every week when Beat Street is out. I see Crazy Leg. I see Lee, Robert Taylor. I see all these people live in the flesh, man. So it's like I'm not a dude from Arkansas somewhere just dreaming about it. I'm seeing these people in the movies, and I'm actually seeing them live in person in the clubs every week as well. So that was real big for my life to be a part of it. I wasn't in B Street or anything, but I was there when the entire movement was happening, when the club was popping, when the release of Beat Street happened. You know what I mean? I'm living the life at the same time. The same with all the graph writers and all that. Like it's good to know that Crazy Legs is one of my good friends right now. You know what I mean? One of the good. I'm proud to call him my brother, Puerto Rican brother, really representing hard for the country and all that, and really hip hop. And lasting the test of time, man, showing what it is to be consistent and to push your movement to be global. If anything, that was the inspiration that helped Low Life stuff happen, because they made it happen first, the same way Zulu made it happen and all that. But like I said, I lived amongst those times, man, and to me, B Street was the greatest hip hop movie ever made. It was the realest one. The only thing whack about B Street was the graph writer, Ramo. He was trash. He was a toy. And that's facts, man. Like, come on. They did out of everything in the movie, they didn't do him justice. They could have put a real ill dude on that, you know? But their movies definitely touched my life, man. They had big influence. Everything hip hop from the gate. You
Well,
know,
that's a great segue, bro. Tell me, who are some of the well-known, respected graffiti artists out there that you looked up to? You know what I'm saying? When you that made you want to get into the art of that graffiti.
What was you tagging?
All right, my tag was Raya. You know, I started tagging young, man. Like, I lived in Far Rockaway before Brownsville.
Okay.
So I started tagging with a lot of artists in Far Rockaway, Rel and Rice and Joe 5 and Bones Malone. I used to do more pieces in black books than anything. I was still young, so I'm not out tagging and bombing the streets like that.
Right.
I'm inspired by the art and touching the black books. You know, I'm doing my lead jackets. I was a dude, I would do my lead jacket over every week, you know, the piece on the back. So I was always into piecing.
That should come back out. Doing a jeans jacket should come back out.
Yeah, they out, man. They that probably never even stopped. You know what I mean? But there was writers like Sonic from Far Rockaway and his brother Crazy Eddie. They were masters, you know. And on the Brooklyn side, you know, I always looked up to Weber from Brownsville as well. You know, I know Weber since way back when as well. He was one of them writers that he used to tear shit up, whatever he did. The same like my brother has, you know, a Low Life. You know, he was always bombing and tagging and doing burners on the train. You know, I would go hold him down and assist him. But you know, from the Brownsville side of things and Low Life, everybody was a graffiti writer in the beginning. That's how most people got their names, like Disco, Beck Live, Rudy. You know, everybody were graffiti writers. That's how, you know, we came together in the first place.
Right.
Yo, man, back then, man, I grew up admiring graffiti writers. Shout out to my man Buck, my man Mark Hayes and Matt. These guys, they was nice with the damn marker. And you be
nice with the marker too, though, Rob.
Yeah, but that's where my inspiration came. And then come to find out, my cousin Fade from Shirt King.
That's your cousin? That's my
dude.
dude. What's up, Fade?
Last year.
Yo, I'm like, yo, son. And I grew up just wanting to write my name all over the place.
Yeah.
You know
I was that kid in school where I never did my work. All I did was graffiti on the desk, or I wrote everything in graffiti. You know what I mean? Like, graffiti had to be the first element to really take over my mind, body, and soul.
Right.
And then, you know, after that came breakdancing. I was like a fiend for breakdancing, man. It controlled everything I thought about, man. That's how hard I was into it, man. I practiced every day as a young kid, really disciplined to practice every single day to master moves and all of that.
Well, let's jump to another element, MCing. As an MC, who do you love working with as a producer?
I mean, wow, I love working with a lot of people, man.
But that one producer, when you sit down, he throws something on, you be like, yeah, we about to get busy right
here. Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't matter for me, the producer, man, because it's all about the right sounds hitting my ear, because that's what tells me what to do. The beat, even me, you know, I'm a producer myself, so I produce half of the stuff you heard from me. Right. So a lot of times it takes me to put it together to give me exactly what I want. But I mean, there's a lot of producers out there. I love DR period stuff. You know what I mean? I like the hard, grimy hip hop, man. I always like Solid Scheme, who used to produce for DOS Effects. Right. You know, PF Cunton. You know, there's a lot of producers. Like I said, the hard body. I love Psycho Lessons production, Domingo. You know what I mean?
Big shout out.
All hard body hip hop, man. That's what I'm into.
Ayatollah. We have Ayatollah on here who's nice too. I love Ayatollah's music.
Yeah, tell Ayatollah send me a beat too. I eat it up.
Yo, Ayat, send me that beat, son. Stop playing, man. For real.
Yeah, send me that beat.
But nah, man, this is dope, man. And you're so New York, man. It's good listening to us. It's like we lived on the same block, because I grew up in the 80s and it was so much about fashion, hip hop. I stayed in the street all day because I didn't want to miss shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I didn't want to miss nothing, man. and with so much going on.
Hey, we have a question. It says, why do you think hip hop culture as a whole seems to decline in the States, but abroad hip hop culture is going hard like it is in the 80s?
I mean, because they appreciate it more. We take it for granted here now. And
I
then,
agree.
you know, we got our new generations who don't even respect the foundation of it, to know the history and all that. Every place else they do because they live in it accordingly. You know what I mean? Here we not. Here is like they don't give a fuck about the forefathers or the rules or biting. Come on, niggas bite like it's crazy, man. Like biting is part of the process now. You know what I mean? So
unfortunately, American culture is one that, you know, people don't value it. It comes and goes that fast.
No, in America, but
In
it's
America.
valued every place else, and they living it accordingly and worshiping it, man. Look how Japan does American culture,
Oh man,
especially hip hop, man. They low game will give New York a run for their money. That's how nice they on top of their game with it. When you see the babies doing it properly, that's when you know it's
that's
not
when you
a
know
game.
it's crazy.
The babies are involved.
Japan's sneaker game is crazy too, son. This shit over there you ain't never gonna see over here.
Yeah, nah, I seen stores in Japan. I like resell used vintage polo stores. I never seen nothing like that in America. Like stores packed, like you could barely walk through the store. Knitted sweaters piled up to the ceiling in mad different sections. Like, you know, this is a booster's like dream come true being in one of them spots.
That's crazy.
Tell you what, man. This is a question that a lot of polo heads want to know, right? And low life heads want to know. Out of hip hop artists, right? Give me at least 5, not counting yourself, that are true official that know how to put that polo or low life brand together from head to toe.
I mean, you see the representatives out there. You see the brother Low Sadat X.
Yep.
God,
you know what I mean?
The God stays throwing up his L's, son.
You see Elder Sensei.
Yeah,
you know, you see Mayhem Loran out there doing it.
Shout out to
you know, you see Nim Low. You see, I mean, it's a long list. Smoke Dizza. You know,
I like Smoke Dizza, man. I love his
what
music.
About Just Blaze?
Yeah, just gets busy. I mean, just don't be amongst the circle of the family that much.
I got
he lives the culture, you know. Everybody else is pretty much intertwined with myself and others, you know. So that's what makes them the official, you know. Shout out Hurricane G, you know, she be repping hard. J. Ruby repping, you know, Juju from the Beat Nuts, he goes hard with it. Spit Gems, you know, there's a lot of active MCs and low lights as well, man. Like a long list right now. You know?
Tell us about that. Now go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it was real quick. Would you say Ralph Lauren is responsible for the existence of Tommy Hilfiger?
Yeah, I believe so, because Tommy actually worked for him before he started doing his own thing.
Oh, what?
You know? Yeah, that's a known fact. But you know, they was really popping when Low Lights began. They was already both out there. One didn't come that much later, you know what I mean? Like, we were touching Tommy early in the game too. But if you know, if you hip to the streets of New York in the 90s, like I tell a lot of people, there was a time in the mid 90s when Tommy Hilfiger was out doing polo in the streets.
Yeah.
Even with Low Lives, everybody was touching the Tommy more because he was being more consistent with it and more catering to how we were rocking it. And polo kind of fell back, and that went on for quite a few years. You know what I mean?
Tommy Hilfiger rugby game was crazy, man.
Yep. Even Donna Karen was showing her ass for a minute and was out doing polo in these streets of New York.
Wow.
Tell us about how you linked up and did Watch These featuring one of the greatest MCs of all time, Eminem.
Yeah, my dude M, he came to New York. This was when he still was shopping his deal and all that, and we were fresh off of the Rap Olympics, event we did in LA. So M came to New York, and DJ Spinner had just got his deal with Raucous Records, and he asked us if we would, get on his album and do a joint together. And I remember it crazy because we was both broke that day. Me and M walking through Bed-Stuy, and we trying to scrape up enough money to get a little bottle or something before we go into Spinner's lab. And then we went there, and we went in his lab, and we did it together on the spot.
Incredible track, man.
Thank you, man.
Talk about the term "low loose on the deuce." Low goose on the deuce. What does that mean to you?
Well, low goose on the deuce, is what we was doing back in the days. We was always on the deuce, rocking our low gooses heavy, in the 80s and 90s and all that. So the low goose on the deuce is an event Rack Low put together, kind of bringing back, paying homage to our times we spent on the deuce,
right.
With them gooses going crazy and all that.
Yeah, that was a different time too, man, being on the deuce. And you had to be out there deep too, just to have fun.
You had to learn the game of being deep.
Yes.
That's what dudes didn't know. That's what, even in me with Low Life, that's something I really helped put together a lot because, I always been a club goer, man, since early 80s. Like I said, I used to do the Roxy's every week. I would do the Fun House and all that. And I remember seeing those other crews dominate in those clubs when, this is times when I was going to the clubs by myself and stuff.
Okay.
So I remember there was the Ball Busters. I don't know if you ever heard of the Ball Busters from uptown, but they used to be in the clubs deep. And any little problem, they pounding dudes out, heavy. So I learned that part of the game, going to Latin Quarters and Union Square. I learned about really bringing everybody. I'm bringing my whole project. I'm calling dudes from the next project. I'm calling my man from uptown. I'm calling dudes from here. So whenever we go, everybody meet outside before we go in. So we make sure, we coming up in here deep as hell.
Who is it that you haven't worked with that you would like to work with?
Oh man, there's a million people I haven't worked with yet, man. I mean,
the
list is in.
Are you and Sadat working on something?
Me and Sadat we dropped a project called The God and the General.
That was recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was like last year.
Yeah, I figured that. I was gonna ask you about
I mean, me and Sadat always got something in the works. We stay jumping on each other's tracks and stuff like that in projects. So there's always a Thirstin Sadat situation somewhere.
Yeah, he shouts you out a lot in his music, man, which is dope, man. I love the fact that brothers like Sadat, all of my favorite MCs from the 90s is still making music. These guys is like my Smokey Robinsons, man. You know what I mean? Because they're still making good music, man. I love the fact that they're doing that, man. Shout out to Next, man.
And it's a blessing to be able to do it, man. Because you got to be in it to win it, man. This game ain't no joke, man. It breaks a lot of people in half,
How was it that you've kept? I can see, man, between your passion and your love for fashion, I see why it's kept you around, man. You love what you do, man.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of scenarios to it, like dudes see all the fashion stuff, man. I'm not getting dressed up every day for nothing. I'm not one of them dudes, man. I'm a dude who be building shit and carpentry and all. I'm always getting dirty, so I like wearing work clothes, being comfortable. You know what I mean? I mean, the fly and the fashion is just part of me, but as far as the creativity and all that, like you said, man, you got to love it. I think I love it more than anybody, and that's what makes my consistency so crazy, and my output, just my love for what I do is like, this is my job, but I never got to go to work because when you love what you do, it's not considered work. But I'm still doing it 24/7 every day. When I wake up, I'm getting to work. I'm creating. I'm using my mind, and I'm always trying to think of something nobody has done, or I know it's no ideas original, but I tried hard like a motherfucker. Because you seen the general low, like like you said, it's no ideas original, but you always gotta help elevate the idea or take it to the next level. So like I think that's what I did with the general low, because there were other kung fu videos and stuff. But what did I do different, to make it, original? I did the Shaolin dots. I never seen nobody do that. You know what I mean? And that's actually me. I shaved my head for real, all of that. You know?
The names you gave your characters, really Evil Drunk Fist and Cripple Beggar.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, like, like you said, you got to really. I watched every karate movie. I can't bite their shit. I had to add my own twist into it. Look at my fighting style, the legend of the low palm. So it's like, this is what I hit you with. I hit you with the L's. And that's, supposed to leave you marked and all that.
Yo, Zane, if you ever go see it, go check it out, bro. It's nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna definitely check it out. But speaking of the L's too, right? Let the listeners know the term where you get your L's from.
I mean, the term where you get your L's from is like, people saying who put you down, who put you in low lives, who gave you your L's, who solidified you, who co-signed you. That's what that means. And in the beginning, nobody co-signed you. You was there. You came and you earned your motherfucking position and you took it. Nobody, gave you L's or anything like that. But when we became an organization for hip hop, then we started pulling people in who were resourceful, who were talented, who can help the movement. And that's how people were getting their L's. Right. Because it was a whole new evolution of how low lives are performing and what we stand for, as far as community wise and in, like I said, in the organization of hip hop being positive for one, we got a crazy background and all that, but that's not what we're portraying today or what we're telling people to be like. You know what I mean? And polo is not even a requirement around here. You don't got to wear no polo or nothing. It ain't about none of that. You know what I mean? So that's definitely a point, I always try to make sure I get across to everybody so they don't get it confused like it's just the dumb shit from back in the days that was going on, because it's a whole nother level of thinking at this point.
Could you imagine in the wildest dream that a love for fashion, pretty much a survival tactic that y'all were living by, would bring you to where you are today? And where is low life going in the next 20, 30 years?
I don't know where's it going, man. I know it's moving forward at a rapid pace, and it shows no signs of slowing down.
I know that's right.
And that's the one thing I see within low life. So, as long as it's moving in a positive form, you know what I mean? That's all I hope for and wish, that, it actually helps people instead of hinder them. Don't get caught up in all the fashion and that you got to compete and being fly and spend all your money on somebody else's dreams and things like that. You know what I mean? It's just an attitude to have inside of you. It don't matter the brand you wear, man. People need to understand that.
There you go.
The clothes don't make you, man. You got to make the clothes. So I could rock anything I want, and I promise you, it's gonna look just as good as if I had on polo. But I just want to see everything go to new heights. Like I said, man, we're one of the biggest organizations in hip hop right now. So I just want to see this last, man, and help people, like, add on to people's lives and in a positive way, man, as always, like I keep saying, because it done so much for me, man. Just the music, the culture, all of it, man. Because even becoming an entertainer and me wanting to rap and all, it opened my mind to the entire world, not just me wanting to be an entertainer or studying music equipment. Right. It expanded my mind to everything that I never even looked at before. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful for everything music has done. Music is a gateway drug, man.
That's a
it's
fact.
A gateway to knowledge, man, like a motherfucker too.
That's a fact.
We got a question here, right? It says, why does it take designers forever to embrace the urban moniker and it's usually after the streets embrace the designer.
I mean, you gotta ask the designers, man.
Mm.
They the ones, I think a lot of times, especially in the low life case, there's a lot of negativity attached to our story, especially from the past. So,
Okay.
you can understand why some people wouldn't come forward or try to associate themselves with the kind of history we had
Okay.
or have. You know what I mean? Which is understandable. Once you become a mature man at this stage, you gotta understand and respect that. So the best thing you can do is clean up your motherfucking act and try to do things accordingly, man. And so we could all exist in the world together.
I tell you what, man, on the Low Life Brands website, man, checked out the cookie hat, checked out the cookie hoodie, the Low Life crew tee. I see the flag tees are all sold out right now, man.
Yeah,
Y'all gotta be up for those for the 4th of July, bro. Them
it
things,
be
them
like
things
that,
is
man.
going out the window real quick, going out the stores real quick.
It be like that, man. It be like that.
And I also see that I think one of my favorites on it. I mean, I like everything, but I like that stadium jacket. Stadium jacket is crazy.
88 joint.
Yeah, man. But tell me about your influence down there in Florida. And shout out to your family out in Wynwood too.
Yeah, I mean, I came from Florida as well, man. I came from Miami too. I've been back and forth since the 70s with my family in Miami. So, I mean, I always came at different periods of my life, and I always brought whatever level of hip hop I was on at the time with me. So I got it. I was able to touch Miami as a graffiti artist, as a break dancer, and then come back as a low life and really expand the culture of low life throughout Miami, Fort Lauderdale, all the way through Orlando, man. So just coming down, man, I met a lot of brothers that was all hip hop and where their lives were dedicated to it. I call them lifers, man. The ones who are doing it, whether they got record deals or not, the ones who are just living it because it's part of their life, it's their religion, it's their culture. So that's all that really grouped together, the people who live hip hop as a culture. And like I said, once again, the low just became the uniform for everybody to stand together. So, and we do a lot of things, man. There's a lot of good things to be done, man. Having a nice group of people, resourceful people like that, So we're doing a lot of things together for Miami, Low Life Miami family, the Low Zone in Orlando. You know what I mean? So a lot of good positive things, man.
Yeah, we had Willie Esco on the show not too long ago. And he talked about dudes like Carl Kanai and Shabazz that didn't get their just due. What do you think about that?
I mean, saying they didn't get their just due, I don't know if that's appropriate, because if you lived in a time where they dominated, would you say they didn't get their just due? Carl Kanai dominated.
Carl Kanai had a nice little lane for a second, yeah.
Dominated, though. When he had his lane, he was the dude. It wasn't really nothing. Everybody was switching from guest to damage to use. Everybody was going to Carl Kanai. Even I had a bunch of Carl Kanai outfits and jeans and all that. And I'm a low dude. You know what I mean? So you can't really say they didn't get their just due.
There was a lot of short sets in my hood too. I seen a lot
and Carl Kanai still to this day is doing very well. Groups like Migos and other people in hip hop embrace the brand, and he also doing real big at the flagship shops out in Japan too, as far as for the brand. So big shout out to Carl Kanai too, y'all.
Why do you think they didn't have any longevity?
Evolution, man. Evolution stopped a lot of people's longevity. I mean, Ralph Lauren, his longevity's been consistent and he never went anywhere because of people like myself and my team, where we upheld it even when it was going out of style. People told me Polo's out of style before. You know, while I had it on, they were telling me, and these were fighting words. You know what I mean? Like nobody was trying to hear that. Saying my Polo was played out was like telling me I'm played out or I'm washed up.
I mean, there's designers. I mean, there's good quality clothes. I mean, like I said early on, man, I wore Bally, I wore Fila, I wore Lecoq Sportif, I wore Benetton. It was like picking fruit from a tree. And then all of a sudden it became, yo, you gotta have that. I'm like, yeah, but what about this? You know what I mean? I used to wear all sorts of stuff. You know what I mean? But you know, to each his own.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what it is, man. You bred a different way, man, and you know this new generation is bred differently. The generation before you was bred differently. They looked at your clothes the same way you look at the new generation's clothes. The same thing boils down to the music. Your generation didn't understand what you were listening to, the same way you don't understand what this generation is listening to. It's just evolution, man. We like I have kids that listen to all this, so I get to understand through their ears and eyes.
That's a fact.
You know, they'll explain stuff to me that I'm not even willing to look at or acknowledge, but they'll bring it to my attention, and that helps me because I can actually understand it from their perspective. You know,
That's right.
It's just a generational gap. I think, you know, right now, or I could say throughout all times, the gap between generations was always the music. And for the first time in history, right now, the gap between the generations is the fashion. Because now the generations can connect on vintage, you know, in this millennial day and time, this is probably the only era that every throwback or every retro outfit from since 1920 something is back in style. So you can wear styles from the 20s, the 50s, the 60s, 70s, 80s. All that is acceptable in today's time all at once.
That's a fact.
You know?
My girl Chaz, man, she's out there. She got a little vintage boutique. Beverly something. I don't remember the name. Sorry for me chopping it up. But a lot of people are going back to that old, that 50s look. 50s
it was real elegant, man. Those were elegant styles in the 40s. And I love the roaring 20s look, especially the way the girls dressed, you know. All that was fly to me, man. But evolution happens, man. Like, we can't understand these kids with a lot of stuff they do right now, how they dress and all that. But it's not for us to understand all the time. It's their time. It's their time. It's their time to be creative and express themselves and in ways we haven't done. Maybe if we watch closely, we could learn something. You know, we don't got to always put them down because you know, we don't agree with what they're doing.
That's right.
You know, watch them and you might learn something, man. I learn all the time by watching them. I'm not gonna emulate them or bite their styles and nothing, but I'm not gonna put it down either like I'm better, you know. Anytime you feel you're the better man, that's when you lose, man, most of the time.
That's right.
You make yourself superior to the next man.
Tell us about some of the great work you did with MTV.
Oh, well, you know, I got a job at MTV, man, straight out of prison on a work release program.
How about that?
So you know, I mostly worked behind the scenes as a production assistant for many years. So it's like I worked side by side with everybody from Michael Jackson to Mariah Carey, and you know, but as a production assistant behind the scenes. So I'm probably the dude who brought you the soda and made the coffee and things like that. But I was able to see a lot and learn a lot. That's why you see I can make 1,000 videos because of my time and experience, you know, from MTV, man. They actually gave me a beautiful opportunity there which really helped change my life to this day, you know. That was one of the biggest pieces that helped transition my life into what it is today, working at MTV.
Would you prefer to this day, would you prefer working behind the scenes or being like, you know, out there in front of the camera?
I do both all the time. If you notice, if you look at all my films, Even though I'm the star, I'm still behind the scenes.
Still
I'm the
behind the
director.
scenes.
I'm the executive producer. I'm usually the coordinator. I did the shot list. I set up the schedule. I had to, orchestrate and coordinate the wardrobe. I had to find the location. I'm always behind the scenes right now, even though I'm the star of most of my production. Shout out my brother Low Box Low. He directs almost everything with me. My whole Miami family squad out here who really gets busy on the production side with us.
I'm gonna have to call you Thirstin Spielberg in a second, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Skillberg.
Skillberg. He said put the skill in there. Yeah.
My company is Skillusion Films. So, that's the imprint I use for my joint.
Nice. But what are you working on musically? You working on anything?
I work on music all the time. I never have to work on a project. I just work on anytime I hear something I'm feeling, I just knock it out and it goes in the vaults. Whenever I want to pull out a project or I got an idea for a concept album, I just go on my files and I see what matches that concept and I'll pull from that and I have an album. I always work on music. I never got to make time to work on it. Anytime I'm feeling something, I just knock it out instantly and get it. My files stack up like crazy, man. There's a lot of albums coming out right now. There's a lot of songs, a lot of music. I even got an EP with 2 Live Crew, me and brother Marquise. You know what I mean? Called Nastier Than Ever. Straight doing that nasty style. I got the Thought Illustrated album coming. There's a lot of joints on there. I got Smoother Hustler, DV Alias Christ. I got the Cellar Dwellers. I got Rock Nest Monster, the Booze Brothers. I got Master Ace, AG. It's a long list.
You got the God on there? That's my brother, man.
Yeah, that's my brother, man. AG from Patterson, man.
That's my brother, man, for real.
You from up that way in the Bronx?
Yes, sir. That's the OG, man. That's my OG right there.
Oh, nah, that's what it is. I used to come up in Patterson and hang out with them dudes all the time, man.
Yes, sir. I'm from he and his pops Joe lived up on Boston Road, up in the Northeast Bronx too, man. That's where I know him from.
Nah, much love to my bro AG.
That's
Andre
right.
the Giant. Much love, baby.
Start digging the crates, man. This is great, man. Yo, you a fly dude, man. But I'm not surprised. You from Brooklyn. Brooklyn cats, they keep it clean, they keep it gully. But I like this conversation, man. This is good stuff, man.
Nah, love is love. Appreciate y'all having me on here.
Another thing too, right? Tell us about when you work with Ralph Lauren and Vice magazine for the Snow Beach I think it was like a Snow Beach
it was the release the release of the Snow Beach line. The retro line came back out, man. So yeah, I was hired as one of the models for the campaign, through Ralph Lauren and Vice magazine. Did a nice shoot for it. It was myself, Mayhem Lauren was there, Tom Gould, who co-authored the book Bury Me with the Low On with me. That was my first one, man, because after that I did the 5 Horsemen shoot. And I don't know if you knew about that. So did you know about the Very Ralph documentary that dropped?
What am I missing? I'm missing shit now.
Oh man, don't tell me you don't know. Man. Yo, they dropped the Ralph Lauren's life story, man, called Very Ralph, his documentary about his life, man. It came out in HBO of December 2019. I'm in his life story as well, man. They gave me a segment in his life story.
That's dope.
So that was real big. That means y'all missed out. Y'all missed out, man.
That's a major move right there for them to put you in there in this documentary like that.
I mean, that was a big move for hip hop in general and Low Lifes and myself. You know what I mean? So, Ralph co-signed everything, man, and gave the love back. So that was a big look, man.
That's the power of influence, man.
Yeah.
When you love something and it attaches you to your lifestyle and you breathe it, you live it. That's hip hop. That's what we are, man. We're products of that, man. How we look, how we talk. I mean, it was funny for me working in corporate America so long. here's this kid from the South Bronx, and I'm in here with suits and ties. I said, do they really know me? Do they
Yeah.
really know me, son? It's crazy though. It's crazy, man. Zay, what you got, Zay?
Tell you what, man, this right here to me was a very dope interview. I definitely want to see if you can come back sometime before this year is up, man, because we actually working on a couple of things. We working on doing a compilation album. We spoke with what's my man name? What's my name, man? My man named Rob.
Oh,
Ayatollah. We spoke with a lot
Mhm.
of other different people that we had on here, man. We looking to possibly do a project sometime next year, but we definitely want to have you back on later on this year, Thurston Howl the Third.
All right,
Definitely an
well, you
honor to
already
have you
know.
on here tonight, man. You want to
I
give any shout
appreciate it.
outs and let anybody know,
Yeah,
how to
man.
get at you for any shows or upcoming stuff you have?
You already know. Just hit me up, Thirstin Howl the Third on Instagram, on Facebook. Hit up my page, thirstinhowlthethird.com as well. You know, to cop all the music, the merch.
Merc,
And you know, you need them shows, you need video directing, you need, artist development, whatever it is, you need a script written, you need it, to go down. Just give me a holler, man. We can
That's it.
work.
That's
I'm
it.
all about that work, man.
Work is
You
it.
know.
So put that
And
work
love, man. And I want to give love to everybody, man, who supports me, man, and everything I do, all the people who share my stuff, the people who shout me out and put me on a pedestal, man, just out of love, because they appreciate what I do for the culture, man, because
Mhm.
that's all I ever wanted, man, was to be respected for what I do, man, because like I said, I love it, man.
You got my respect, Paul, and I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you did for the game. I appreciate your fashion sense. I
Thank
appreciate
you, man.
loving Ralph Lauren the way you did, because it didn't just take you all over the world. It took so many other people all over the world, man.
Yo, I still never seen y'all not once this entire interview.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck
Your
is going
boxes,
on.
but on your side, you able to see all three, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
All right,
yeah. That's the
all right.
first
So
time it's ever happened on the
I
show.
was like,
Yeah.
yo, they trying to conceal their identities over there. Or
Nah,
something.
man. Nah.
no, we ain't the ops, man. We ain't the secret ops, man.
Yeah,
We
it's all good. It's all good. You know what it is.
be good brothers. But man, it's been a great time, and we it's a pleasure having talking to you, man. And I wish you the best in all of what you're doing, that you got going on. Everybody that supports you.
Thank you, man. Likewise to you and your platform, and your peoples, man. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to even want me up on here, man. And
Appreciate you,
acknowledging
my
me.
G. Appreciate
All
it,
right.
man.
Nothing but
Love
love.
is love, baby. All
One
the
love.
time. Thank you, man.
All right, got you.
Peace.
That was dope, son.